They say when women participate in economy, everyone wins. A beautiful welcome to you to the Women Series program where we capture developments and stories that impact women. Happy new month. Most importantly, happy Women's Month. Yes, it is our month and we're celebrating all through the month of March because there's International Women's Day, there is the Mother's Day, there's Mothering Sunday, there's a lot. So let's just say it's just a month for women. So happy Women's Month to you and you and you. Today, we're starting off the conversation in relation to the International Women's Day theme, which of course is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And of course, we're breaking the bias. Now, it's so interesting that, I don't know if I should call it interesting, but I mean, there are lots of ways or sectors where we need to break the bias and need to consider this for a sustainable world. And top on the list is the political sector. I said that right, political sector, and you know why, you understand why. So today I have an interesting guest with me that I'll be having this conversation with. That's the CEO and the founder of elective, speaking with Ibijoke Faborade. But before we meet her, let's go on a quick break and we'll be back.
Tune in to WebTV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch WebTV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back. It is still the Women's Series where we capture developments and stories that impact women. It's all about the Women's Month. And today we're talking about breaking the bias in politics, in the political sector, yes. And I'm speaking with Ibijoke Faborade. Hello, Ibijoke. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
By the way, I love your name.
Thank you.
I don't know why I didn't mention that. I love Yoruba names that sound so...
Yeah, Ibijoke means
so
everyone came together to take care of her. So I don't take that very lightly.
I mean, it shows that everyone came together to take care of you. And of course, they are still doing. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm very well,
Happy Women's Month.
Happy Women's Month.
It's a month. It's a month.
Every month is a month. Every day is a day, essentially. But this is a celebratory month for us to celebrate milestones, and you know. So yeah, why not?
That's good. I mean, I love the energy we're using to start, and the Sustainable Development Goal 5 aims to achieve gender equality and also empower women and girls. Yeah. So everybody, if you're a female, it's just to achieve gender equality and empowerment for us. And it's a good time for us to talk about politics in Nigeria as it affects Nigeria, because this is not the first time we're talking about gender equality and women's representation in politics.
Absolutely.
Just last year, there was still the National Assembly rejecting the gender equality bill. Yeah, so it's a lot in this space. To start with, I think a good way to start is to ask this question, and you would agree with me that in recent times, while there have been several campaigns for women's representation in politics, we've still seen like a decline in women's representation, both in the elective and as well the appointments space. And there's still the decline. The decline is still going on. In your opinion, what do you think is the cause for this?
I mean, there are a number of factors. First of all is society by construct.
Yeah.
Right? So you have cultural, religious stereotypes that really hamper the evolution of women in this space. We've seen a retrogression actually in the rise of women in politics. The previous cycle, before this current cycle, we had more women. So there's actually real cause for worry. Because when you have almost half of the population as women and they're not involved in critical decision making and policy formulation, then, I mean, it is almost inevitable that we're going to have rise in inflation, and also, socioeconomic retrogression as well. But essentially, a lot of this is, like I say, it's a mindset problem. So one of the biggest forms of poverty for me is mindset poverty, right?
That's true.
Yes,
it's not the poverty of the mind. It's the poverty of the
people to
mind.
conceive that women can do it. The ability for people to actually give women a level playing field and not make decisions from a place of bias and a place of gender limitations is one of the reasons we found ourselves here today. The political system in itself, by construct, is male-centric. Most of the delegates, most of the gatekeepers, most of the power holders in the political structures are men. So it is just normal that we'll have this sort of gap. Some of the parties in their constitutions actually have gender-centric laws, but another problem is not even just the law, it's the enactment of the law as well. But most of them are not executing it. So if for example, some of those things were legislated in the party system, where you mandate maybe 40% of the party leadership to be women, the approach to leadership, the approach to how spaces are being opened up for women will be different. So women are historically have been the dancers, the Ashwabi people. But the thing, what I find most thought-provoking is the fact that women are actually so instrumental in getting men elected.
Yes.
They are the market
They
women.
are the ones that would
mobilizers
fight for these people.
So why are we having issues with women emerging leaders or women being given spaces in the political space?
Do we say that the men are scared?
No. So for me, let me tell you something. Change is not easy. People, by human construct, people are not really open to change. You have to take it. You have to come to the table, come to the negotiation table. You understand? As women, we need to stop cowering. We need to take it. There's so much happening globally with women rising to the boardroom. We need to remobilize. We need to harness ourselves. We need to harmonize. We need to build an ecosystem of support. The men support themselves unapologetically. Women, we need to stop psychoanalyzing everything.
I think that's a point
right there.
Important. That's a point right there. We don't support. We support ourselves verbally.
We just need to. So we need to do better. Look, we're learning. We're learning. That's what I say. So this whole idea of women do not support women. In some contexts, it is true because some women feel like because it's been so hard for them to get at the top, other perhaps will have it that way. But you also have women that are doing fantastic work and supporting candidates and supporting people. All we need to do is ensure that we are actually channeling our effort or agitation towards building a support infrastructure and ecosystem. When women come together, amazing things happen. That's just very important. So even in the party structures, the roles of women should not be relegated only to women leaders. For me, I find it very insulting.
And assistants.
And actually, in some political parties, I think it was last year in the news, you actually had a northern male contesting for women leader, and I'm like, what is all this now? You understand? So it's just really despicable. It's really despicable. Why can't the national chairman be a woman? You understand what I'm saying? So we need to disrupt things a little bit. I'm hoping that for a major party like APC that are yet to have their own convention, that they would actually stick to their mandate or fulfill the mandate of gender equality that they actually promised. Because I spoke at the APC National Women Conference. I'm not politically inclined, by the way. We're party agnostic. We just follow where the progressive conversations are any single time. And so for us, I encourage them, look, this is a way for you to actually set the framework for other parties and show that you're serious, because an election is coming. All those women that are dancing and mobilizing for you, it's time for them to get on the table. It's time for them to also, have power as well, to be able to make critical decisions. Religious and cultural stereotypes. Nigeria is a very religious country. I always say that our religious leaders have such a pivotal role to play in this movement, because when your imam speaks, when your pastor speaks, 99%, probability you would want to listen to him because you feel that he's ordained by a higher power. And so I feel like people like that need to intervene. People like that need to intercede and have this conversation. You should lead, you should lead your congregation, essentially. So I feel like our religious leaders are not doing a lot as well because politics cannot survive without religion in Nigeria.
I'm not sure if you want to hear that, but I mean, that's spot on.
But hey,
that's spot on, that's true.
We don't want to go deep into the decadence in that space as well. But for me, it's a call to action for religious leaders as well to say that you are leading people. Lead them right. Let them understand that so far you're competent, you can lead. Don't start telling them because you're a woman, you have limitations, and all that. And so it's just general. I think also the lack of the level of apathy, from citizens as well. We cannot ask for what we don't give. I keep saying it time and time with that number. I'm in this space because you know what? I was just tired of being one of the Nigerians that complained, and I wanted to do something. Am I going to fix something? Time will tell. But am I doing something so that every day I wake up and I know that I'm saying government is not doing something or the society has failed us? I know I have a right to. But there's so many people, especially playing in the private sector, holding critical roles that are not holding government accountable, they're not pushing for transformational change or accountability, that are not asking the right questions. So I think it's so important that it's not a government thing, it's not a political party thing, it's a citizen thing. Democracy without the people is not possible. So we, the people, need to prioritize this discussion. We, the people, need to sustain these discussions. We, the people, need to be resilient in the way we channel and champion these discussions. And we, the people, need to ensure that we're living by examples across the board as well.
I feel like you've embodied the whole conversation today. So if we close today, if we close now, I feel like we've gotten the most important point. But one other thing I want us to critically address is we can go on and on and on
Absolutely.
today and talk and talk and talk. And we miss out giving out strategic ways to implement all of these things.
Absolutely.
Now, we've been able to identify the factors, we've been able to identify where we are missing it. As a people, you've said it as a people, individually, and as it concerns organizations and government parastatals, right? So how do we begin to bridge the gap? How do we begin to highlight all of these things and then work towards it? A strategic way to achieving we're really breaking the bias.
Yeah, so definitely, I love solutions-oriented discussions because it's not just about the problem. I think the problems, get overflowed most times, but talking about this critical discussion that's so important. First thing is get your PVC. You can't be a citizen and not have your PVC. It's so important that you exercise your fundamental human right. You owe it to the country. Otherwise, you have lost your right as a citizen.
You owe it to yourself.
So I'm going to say, if you don't love yourself, love your country. You understand what I'm saying? So one way or the other, something must give. Yeah. But essentially is everyone needs to get the PVCs so that, and I'll tell you something, every human being is a political animal. People keep claiming that the people that lead us are not smart. I dare to differ, they're very smart. Because when it's time to bring sanctions, they bring sanctions. They understand the rules and they know how to play against you. They understand the law. As citizens, we need to be conscious. The vote is your power. So you need to ensure that you are very much involved. So next election, let's go out there. Let's register for our PVC. Let's go there to vote, cast our votes, and protect our votes. Let us demand accountability. The more involved citizens are, the stronger our voices are. Trust me, you cannot deny a people that come together to demand change. Most of the successful movements in the world, you've seen it, because they stood together. It's the Arab Spring, the war we're having, with some of the European countries, I'm not going to name now. You're actually seeing a group of people, regardless, stay together and say, no, we are not going. In the face of problems. And that's where we need to get to. But I'll tell you something. We are moving as a people. There is a growing social consciousness. This agitation that we feel, we need to feed it. NSAS was only a scratch on the surface. It was a stepping stone. We might not have achieved what we wanted as a people, but I say there were lessons learned then. For the first time, we had one of the most powerful infrastructure led by finance, technology, people, civic technology, harmonization.
Everybody
it was just
coming
everything
together.
coming together.
Beautiful.
But again, as young people, you need to know the time to step back and negotiate. Study the movements in the world. We need to find a balance between idealism and pragmatism. You can't just be one directional. You cannot be anti-government because you need government to, so it's nowhere to get to the table. It's not selling out. It is power play. And we must not be apologetic to actually demanding for power play. You must know when to get in there when you're at your peak and then negotiate and seek answers.
I think that's
that
when we sometimes get into our head.
Yes, but we're growing. Look, I don't want us to beat up ourselves. NSAS was beautiful. It's something that institutions are learning. So we as the people must learn. And because we have now seen the power of the people, let us take that into the election. Second of all is finance.
I was going to get there.
Politics is very expensive. Now with the Electoral Act, I think for presidential, 5 billion, gubernatorial, 2 billion, senatorial, 100, House of Rep, 70, House of Assembly, 30. It is still expensive because when you look at livelihood and also affordability, how many women can really afford that? So we still need to be able to mobilize resources. And I think women need to understand also, when you talk about resources, it's not just financial. There's social, there's human, there's technological capital. We need to stop being myopic and short-sighted. I have played in this space. Women need to stop feeling entitled. Some people are not going to like me for this, but I don't care. Let's be honest. I love my women, but I want us to get into power. I want us to play beyond sentiments. I want us to bring our A game to the table. As a woman, you're coming to me. Are you bringing your manifesto? What exactly? I know that we don't have ideological-based parties, but what are you pitching? What are you moving? How do you want to make yourself different?
What's your agenda?
What's your agenda, essentially? And so for me, if you come with a clear agenda, it's just like in the business world. You want business. What's your business case? So women, what is your business case? Why do you want me to fund you? I'm not going to come from a place of sentiment. I am so tired of that. Saying because I'm a woman, vote me. What do you have to offer? We are here because we didn't ask the people that we voted for.
I mean, let's also speak about accountability.
Yes. Absolutely. So competence for me is so important. Yeah. I am all for getting women elected because we need it so badly in this country. Our economy is not doing so well right now. We need half of the citizens involved, which means that we need people who understand our situation and the future and then know how to pave the path from there on. So getting the right women with the right conscience, with the right moral compass, with the competence, class, and character is so important in 2023. And as an organization, I am committing to that. I don't care if anyone tells me that, oh, you're not nominating XYZ because they're popular. Hell no. If I'm going to raise funds because we want to support women, they have to be women that are competent. And I've seen that over the past 2 years playing in this space, that some women are just entitled because gender looks good. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen anymore.
So just because we preach gender equality, we preach give women a table in the state, you need to be competent. I mean, I think that's like a takeover.
There's something about competence.
We need to be competent. We need to show that, yes, we are...
The confidence that comes with competence. When I step into a room and I feel confident, I don't care who you are. I will speak my truth. And that's what we need to know. There's nothing as good as a competent woman. When you step into a space, you feel that space. And men are always scared of that.
They would respect
because you will hold your ground. So I think respect. Look, I'm not lying that we don't have this underlying problem. Don't let it's a wicked problem. It's a complex problem.
Yep.
However, let us come to the table correct. So that when they say, where is our manifesto? Here. This is what I'm going to do. X, Y, Z. What's your plan? Oh, I have a budget. I'm looking at security, alternative security, infrastructure. Oh, I need 2 nannies because I'm a nursing mother. Come and ask and demand.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's not black and white. But I'm also saying that our approach to resource mobilization has to be different. It's not just money. I kind of feel like it's very myopic to think of just money when you're thinking about resource mobilization because people are resources. Getting people on your campaign that share similar vision with you, getting if it's a communication company that can give you branding, if it's a security company that can give you security, just start looking at how you can mobilize. But you can't have that if you don't have clarity of purpose and you can't define what you need as a candidate. So we can go on and on, but I think that we need to bring our A game on in 2023.
You've embodied everything. I feel like you've really embodied. I was going to talk on finance. You've talked about finance. I was going to talk about competence. You've talked about competence. I was going to talk about our demands or necessary demands that women make. you've talked about everything. So now let's just talk about what Electa is doing. I mean, this is a pre-election year, and
This
it's
is
very,
the part
very,
that I love.
yes. So what is Electa doing? Let's know.
So first of all, I like to say that we are a disruptive organization. We're a set of, progressive, positive-minded people who just want to see the world change. Do we have all the answers? No. Do we want to make a difference? Absolutely, yes. Are we excited about what we're building?
Yes.
Yes, yes, girl. So, I mean, there's so much we're doing. We're hoping that by the end of March, we can announce our first set of candidates that we'll be supporting. We're currently fundraising at the moment. So we're going to go into intense media exposure for the candidates, building storytelling around them, going to fundraise. We're thinking of a global, we are planning towards a global fundraising tour to some of the countries where you have the biggest diaspora population. We're going to do a lot around storytelling and just pushing the women out there to raise funds. And we're building that first tech platform. Now, I'm not going to say a lot about it because I feel like it's something that the world would not expect. From the way I speak, you can obviously tell that I'm very passionate. I'm very interested. I actually love what I do because I feel like this is transformational change. You train a woman, you train the whole world. It's just a model that time and time without number, it has been proven, essentially. So for Electa we're looking to obviously finance candidates, mobilize resources for them, leverage on the power of many and intentional people, just pick from the lessons of the NSES campaign and see where we can also leapfrog from there. Second of all is our tech infrastructure is going to disrupt from campaign monitoring to communities to data aggregation, just mentioning. We've actually just been shortlisted to the final stage of the Africa Civic Tech Fund by the Africa Union, which will be driving one of our platforms. So we can't wait for people to see what we're planning. But all I would say is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I mean, how else do we end today's conversation by Ibijoke Faberade by saying that sit back and enjoy the show? And at the end of the day, I feel like gender equality is not only a fundamental human right. I mean, it is necessary for the movement of a peaceful, prosperous, and a sustainable world. So if we really, really want to have a sustainable world, we need to have like this gender equality. And for women, please, when you're fighting, fight rights. When you're fighting, fight rights. Do not come there and start demanding because you feel like you are a woman. Nobody's going to listen to you because you're a woman. But bring your A game to the table. Be competent at what you have your facts right. Come with data, come with experience, come with exposure, come with your minds, come with confidence, just as Ibijoke says. And we start off from there. That's just the foundational. That's where we're going to start from. And on this episode of the Women Series, we'll bring today's conversation to a close. But before we go, we need to do the sign
break the bias.
Of break the bias. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so together, let's do our hands together.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
can I have,
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me help you. Okay, so together we are breaking the bias. Thank you very much for watching today's episode of the Women Series. If you'd like to reach out to me, send a mail to ayomide.oguntoya@proshareeng.com. If you'd like to watch more of our videos or listen to or read our news stories, log on to www.proshareeng.com. That's where you can get all your personal finance information and get updated on what's going on in the world of finance. And follow us on all our social media platforms showing on the screen. And until next time, thank you for watching.